representing Ecuador, but training out of Tijuana, Mexico.
The welterweight division has always been one of the most competitive in the UFC. The guys here are just as skilled as the lightweights, but bigger, stronger, and hit way harder. Right now, a new generation of hungry lions is climbing to the top.
By way of Pasaje, Ecuador, here is the undefeated.
One of the brightest young talents among them is Michael Morales, an undefeated 26-year-old from Ecuador who's already 18-0 in his pro career with 13 vicious knockouts and now has his eyes set on UFC gold.
It's over.
Today, we're looking back at the rise of this young Gen Z phenom, a man standing on the edge of the biggest fight of his life, one that could make him a top contender in the welterweight division.
Michael Morales is still unbeaten.
Michael Morales was born on June 24, 1999 in Pasaje, a small town in southern Ecuador. You could say fighting runs in his blood. Both of his parents were judokas. Little Michael started tossing people on the mats when he was just 5 years old, and his first coach was none other than his mom, Katy Hurtado, an international judo referee and a third-degree black belt who competed until the age of 42 before hanging up her GI. By the time Morales was 10, he switched from judo to wrestling and began stacking up youth tournament wins. But his real journey began at 14, when his father took him to Victor Vallejo's gym in Machala. That's where Michael first stepped into the world of mixed martial arts, and he never looked back. While fully focused on MMA, he also juggled a day job at a naval boat factory, training, working, sleeping, and doing it all over again. And at just 16, he turned pro. No games, no warm-up, straight into the fire. The Ecuadorian prospect made his professional debut at home in August 2017. Morales started from the absolute bottom, the kind of shows where the fights were filmed on something that barely qualified as a real camera. Right from the start, Morales showed off the beauty of his judo and freestyle wrestling. And later even pulled off something straight out of WWE, slamming his opponent down like he was trying to drive him through the canvas. After a few brutal ground strikes from Morales, the referee had no choice but to step in and stop the fight, marking the first knockout of the young prospect's career. The first, but definitely not the last. Just 7 months later, Morales granted his opponent a rematch, and the guy instantly regretted asking for it. After the very first round, the doctor had to step in and call it off, putting an end to a one-sided beating. In his next fight, Morales showcased patience, fight IQ, and composure, outstriking his opponent on the feet and cruising to a dominant unanimous decision victory. After that fight, Morales left his homeland for the first time and crossed the border into neighboring Peru. On July 17, 2019, in search of tougher competition, Morales stepped into the cage to face future FFC champion Oscar Ravello. After a slow and cautious start, Morales pressed his opponent against the cage and unloaded a few sharp shots. But Ravello wasn't the type to back down. He fired back and refused to retreat. The two began trading more frequently, and soon the fight turned into controlled chaos. In the second round, Morales landed a perfectly timed right hook that momentarily stunned his opponent. Ravello then tried to take it to the ground, but got a playful "no thanks" from Michael. From there, Morales started taking full control. His shots were sharper, his composure calmer, and his opponent visibly fading. Right before the end of round 2, the Ecuadorian dropped Ravello with a clean, well-timed 1-2. Though saved by the bell, the damage was done. Ravello's corner refused to let him continue. After making a strong impression abroad and returning home, Morales went right back to dismantling his fellow countrymen. But this time, he also wanted to remind everyone that he's not just a knockout artist. He made his next opponent tap out to a triangle choke, earning the first submission win of his career. His final opponent on the regional scene was fellow Ecuadorian Mario Navarrete. Morales charged forward right from the start, trying to take off the head that sported a glorious mop of hair. And then he went for the legs too, shutting down his opponent's ability to even stand. Finally, in round 2, Morales sealed the deal and added the 7th finish of his career to the highlight reel. Right after that win, the world was hit by massive changes. Half the planet went into lockdown, while the other half tried to keep the show going. For a 20-year-old Morales, who was used to fighting almost every month, it was torture. He had to sit and wait, with no fights in sight. 6 months later, when things slowly started getting back to normal, Morales, now 21, took the next big step in his career and signed with one of Ecuador's biggest promotions, Extreme MMA. He made his debut on August 1st, 2020 against another undefeated prospect, Daniel Luigi Bastidas. As if foreshadowing his own future, Morales walked to the cage wearing full UFC gear. He was 8 years younger than his opponent, but the plan was the same as always. Get in, get out, and get it done fast. Just 30 seconds into the fight, Bastidas absorbed the first barrage of shots. Morales was quicker. Moments later, he fired a laser-sharp right jab straight to the face. Bastidas wasn't ready for that, and neither was his nose. Blood started pouring, and Morales kept punishing the poor guy so hard that the referee had to step in and call the doctor. Bastidas wanted to keep fighting, but the war was already over. Morales delivered a dominant debut performance and made a statement in just 2 minutes.
Michael Morales es el ganador de este combate. Y se catapulta a la final.
Then, on October 3rd, 2020, in just his second fight with the promotion, the young Ecuadorian got the chance to seize the vacant Emma welterweight title. His opponent was Ricardo Centeno, a seasoned fighter with 11 professional bouts under his belt, most of his wins coming by knockout. Morales fought as a counterpuncher, sticking to his trademark approach, patient, composed, waiting for the perfect mistake. At times, he closed the distance with sharp 1-2s, but mostly relied on clean counters. Ricardo landed a decent shot once, but Morales instantly fired back. As the first round entered its final minute, chaos started to creep in. The fight turned into an open firefight, and sparks flew as fists crashed into faces. Ricardo, like a gunslinger in a western, stood his ground. But Morales was packing the bigger weapon. Uppercut right into the chin, a few clean follow-ups, and that was it.
Michael está mostrando una excelente combinación.
Morales showed the difference in class and claimed the first belt of his career, but he wasn't done yet. In fact, he'd just gotten a taste of what was possible, and now he wanted more.
Michael Morales de Machala.
By early 2021, Michael Morales had already caught the eye of major MMA organizations around the world. Young, explosive, and undefeated knockout artist, and with a marketable look to match, the Ecuadorian prospect was on everyone's radar. But before the big leagues came calling, he had one final test to pass, a proving ground to cement his status. This time, it would be under the banner of Ultimate Warrior Challenge in Mexico.
No losses. Michael Morales from Ecuador.
April 30th, next in line was Miguel Arizmendi, a seasoned veteran, 10 years older than Morales, with 13 pro fights to his name. Calculated, durable, and armed with solid cardio, the Mexican fighter was known for grinding out decisions, meaning this one wasn't supposed to be a walk in the park for the young prospect.
And Michael Morales with the black shorts.
Morales opened calmly, showing off his superior speed and crisp jab work. Only after the halfway point of the fight did he start pressing Arizmendi against the fence and chopping away at his legs.
I mean, he's experienced, right? Nice.
He was moving.
10 seconds before the end of the first round, the Ecuadorian took him down and unloaded a barrage of heavy ground strikes. Arizmendi was saved by the bell, buying himself a few minutes, but not salvation from the inevitable.
Trying to finish at the end of the first round, saved by the bell.
He even tried to wrestle, but his attempts only drew laughter from the crowd.
Arizmendi goes for the takedown. No way.
One of those attempts led straight to another vicious barrage from Morales. The Mexican got back to his feet, only to get dropped again. Morales kept chasing him on the feet, and Arizmendi's face said it all. He just wanted out. But Morales was a predator that night. Once again, he trapped his opponent against the fence, and a sniper-precise right hand from the Ecuadorian sealed the deal. The ground and pound that followed was just a formality. To his credit, Arizmendi fought bravely, a true son of Mexico. But that night, he was simply up against a different breed.
Punch by Michael Morales. Knockout in the second round.
What a beast!
That one connected flush right on target.
With 11 straight wins, 10 of them by brutal finishes, Michael Morales had officially become a rising contender outside the octagon. The undefeated beast could no longer stay in the shadows. The UFC had already taken notice. But before you step onto MMA's biggest stage, there's one final interview every fighter must pass.
Episode 4 of this season's Contender, Michael Morales.
So, in September 2021, Morales made his way to Dana White's Contender Series, ready to punch his ticket straight into the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
But Michael Morales, at 22 years old, went out there.
After another 6 months, on September 21st, 2021, Morales stepped into the octagon for the first time, right in front of the bosses of the best league in the world. The young Ecuadorian had shown plenty of promise, but this time his opponent wasn't some local brawler. Across the cage stood Kazakhstan's Nikolai Veretennikov, the reigning Fury FC champion with a 9-3 record. All his losses came early in his career, and he was now riding an 8-fight win streak with 6 knockouts. Right away, Morales could feel the difference in competition. The fight went the full distance, and both men looked evenly matched. Veretennikov held his own in the stand-up and on the ground, even managing to steal a round. But Morales proved sharper in every aspect and earned a clear unanimous decision victory. He didn't give the crowd fireworks that night, but what he did show was maturity, composure, and a complete MMA skill set.
Michael Morales!
Ecuador! ¡Viva México, cabrones!
Dana White and the UFC matchmakers took notice, and soon after, the Ecuadorian got the kind of offer you simply don't refuse.
Michael Morales is only 12-0. He's 12-0, but he's 22 years old. I've seen signs of possible greatness in this kid. He's 22. What the hell is this kid going to look like when he's 27? And especially if he can survive here. You know where I'm going with this. I mean, this kid is absolutely special. Come on, Michael. Get over
Michael
here.
Morales, congratulations.
Michael Morales made his UFC debut on January 22, 2022, the very same card where Francis Ngannou fought his final bout in the promotion. His opponent was Trevin Giles, a dangerous finisher with notable wins over James Krause and Roman Dolidze. Giles was a seasoned veteran with 8 UFC fights under his belt, and in his previous outing he'd gone toe-to-toe with future champion Dricus du Plessis, and looked good doing it despite the loss.
Right now on DraftKings Sportsbook, Trevin Giles.
At first, Giles managed to rattle the young prospect and show his experience. But Morales quickly adapted, and once he found his rhythm, he took over, landing a few coffin-worthy shots to Giles' head. A counter right, followed by vicious ground strikes, forced the referee to step in, giving Morales his first knockout in the UFC. The debut ended with a statement, a first-round finish. A new problem had just entered the welterweight division.
For all the trust and the work, thank you very much. You wait for more work, more wins for all of Latin America.
Así que nos vamos arriba, latinos!
In his next fight, Morales, a newcomer himself not long ago, faced another debutant, Adam Fugit, who came in with an 8-2 record and was making his first walk to the octagon.
4 consecutive wins has arrived at the UFC debut.
With no clue what to expect from his opponent, Morales fought cautiously, working as a counter-striker and occasionally unleashing bombs straight to Fugit's face. Fugit mixed in some wrestling, but the Ecuadorian clearly showed the gap in striking, picking him apart with the precision and rhythm of a woodpecker. The finish came early in the 3rd round. In another exchange, Morales dropped Fugit with a stiff jab and followed up with a barrage against the cage.
Good job there.
Oh! Morales caught him.
That's the same type of shot he got Trevin Giles with. Something in close, in between your strikes.
Second UFC fight, second knockout.
14-0 for the Ecuadorian!
Wow. 170.5 for Michael Morales.
Next, Morales was matched up with a true veteran, a man who had more UFC fights than Morales had total bouts in his entire career. Max Griffin was 14 years older and had been competing in the UFC for over 7 years. With a 19-10 record, the experience gap was massive, but time in the sport doesn't win fights by itself.
And new prospect.
Griffin came in composed and mobile, but for 15 minutes he was basically a punching bag. Morales stuffed every takedown attempt, hit harder, and landed cleaner. The Ecuadorian spent 3 rounds picking him apart with crisp, unanswered shots.
That's right!
Griffin didn't look beaten down or out of it, but even he knew who the rightful winner was that night.
Morales!
To my mom, for having won the gold medal in the Pan American Games is my inspiration. This was on Wednesday. On Wednesday, it's the inspiration that I need to keep going.
Exactly 2 years ago, in November 2023, Michael Morales stepped into the octagon for his 4th UFC fight. He faced Jake Matthews, a BJ with a 19-6 record and a reputation for mixing sharp hands with slick grappling. But none of that mattered. From the opening seconds, Morales was quicker, sharper, and just one step ahead in every exchange. He read Matthews like an open book, countering every move as if he already knew what was coming. The Celtic kid tried to adjust, but Morales was always 2 moves ahead, dictating the pace all the way to the final horn. He imposed his style completely, and Matthews looked helpless trying to catch up. The fight went the distance, Morales' second straight decision, and once again, the judges were all in his corner. Another win, another lesson learned, and this time, he silenced every question about his cardio. With a 4-0 record inside the UFC and everyone finally realizing he's the real deal, it was time for Michael Morales to level up once again and aim for the rankings. And for that mission, the promotion brought in one of the greatest gatekeepers in UFC history, Neil Magny. The man who holds the record for the most wins in UFC welterweight history, 23, was there to test whether this young prodigy truly belonged among the elite. Magny, a wrestling-heavy BJJ black belt, had spent years going to war with the best in the division and held victories over names like Hector Lombard, Johnny Hendricks, Carlos Condit, Robbie Lawler, Jeff Neal, Daniel Rodriguez, and plenty more. In his previous outing, the veteran even pulled off a huge upset by finishing Canadian prospect Mike Malott. Everything pointed to a long, tough night for Morales. And early on, it looked exactly like that. Magny quickly outsmarted the young gun, pinned him to the fence, and took his back. The vet controlled Morales for over 2 minutes, clearly taking the round, or so it seemed. But Morales had other plans. Midway through the first, the Ecuadorian unleashed a brilliant spinning elbow, flipped the script, dominated from top position, and poured on heavy ground and pound. Magny, a man who's been through countless wars, had no answer this time and was forced to sit there as the ref stepped in.
Morales, still undefeated, turns the tables on Neil Magny en route to his 12th.
Another first-round finish, a spot in the top 15, and his first performance of the night bonus. The Morales rocket ship to the top of the rankings had officially taken off.
And I'm very excited for the future. 17-0, a talented prospect indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Michael Morales!
The rise of Michael Morales kept rolling, and on May 17, 2025, he stepped into the octagon for what would be his most recent appearance to date. Across from him stood another veteran, one of the best welterweights on the planet, Gilbert Durinho Burns.
And dangerous opponents in Gilbert Burns.
Burns is a third-degree BJJ black belt, a multiple-time world champion, and an ADCC gold medalist, arguably the most dangerous grappler Morales had ever faced. But the threat didn't stop on the ground. Burns carried fight-ending power in his hands, and his war with Khamzat Chimaev proved he could bang with anyone in the world.
How it went?
Tough guy, bro. I didn't know he was so tough.
Despite all the respect in the world for the Brazilian legend, Morales wasn't there to pay homage. He came to take his number 8 spot in the rankings. And as expected, Durinho wasn't going to have an easy night at the office. The stocky Brazilian moved well, closed the distance fast, and forced Morales to tap into every ounce of his striking mastery. Once the Ecuadorian found his rhythm, he started landing clean, surgical shots that had Burns backing up. Jabs, crosses, hooks, uppercuts. Everything was dialed in and smashing right through Burns' guard like there was a magnet pulling Morales' fists to his face. But Burns has always been one of the toughest guys in the division, and he wasn't about to crumble after the first flurry. Still, toughness was all he had that night. Morales had locked into kill mode, distance measured, timing perfected, and nearly every heavy punch he threw was rattling the veteran's head. Eventually, even the proud Brazilian warrior couldn't withstand the onslaught.
Power power shot said by Morales.
He's a big shot.
Burns goes down.
He went down swinging, and Morales picked up a massive TKO victory, crashing into the top 10 and cementing himself as a real contender. 6th UFC win, 4th by knockout, 3rd first-round finish, and his 2nd performance of the night bonus. There's no doubt left. Michael Morales belongs among the very best, and now the road ahead leads straight toward UFC gold.
Mamá, esta victoria es para ti.
Mom, this victory is for you, just for you to know that your boy is doing some great things. This is for you. We're going to go back to Ecuador with a win. This is all for you. Thank you.
This weekend, Michael Morales is set for the biggest fight of his career. Standing across from him will be Sean Brady, the number 2 ranked welterweight and one of the most dangerous grapplers on the entire roster.
It's about as impressive a performance as I've seen in terms of the grappling in a really long time. Come on.
There it is. Utter dominance in the grappling start to finish. He's out. Sean Brady. Wow.
Without question, this is the toughest test Morales has ever faced. But if he passes it, if he manages to take out Brady, there'll be no more doubt, no more prospect talk. He'll be knocking right on the door of a title shot. Being undefeated after nearly 20 professional fights is no easy feat, especially when you're doing it under the UFC banner against the best fighters on the planet.
That's right.
That was a huge.
Oh my goodness. I think it's it. It's over. It's over. It's over.
Michael Morales.
That's what makes this run even more impressive. Morales has done it all while still being young by fight game standards.
Ecuador, but training out of Tijuana, Mexico.
Oh,
Take that
look at
attempt.
that.
He got it.
That's that judo background.
Ándale. Ándale y lo toca.
Michael Morales is, without a doubt, one of the brightest talents of his generation. He can knock people out or simply make them suffer. At just 26 years old, he's already within arm's reach of UFC gold.
Que pasen bien, de aquí a la pelea nos vemos en noviembre 15. Y pues nada, muchachos, metele con todo. Arrecho Ecuador.
And the scary part? He still hasn't hit his full potential. Just imagine what's going to happen when Michael Morales reaches his prime. If that thought scares you, just imagine how his opponents must feel.
Portando con orgullo la bandera de Ecuador, pero también la de México, país que le abrió las puertas en Tijuana. Aparece este muchacho, Michael Morales, de Pasaje, Ecuador.